Welcome to This Week Health Events, where we amplify great thinking with interviews from the floor. No show, no problem. We're still going to do the interviews with a bevy of great guests. Special thanks to our channel sponsors, Sturbridge Advisors, HealthLyrics, Galen Healthcare, VMware, and ProTalent Advisors for choosing to invest in our show. My name is Bill Russell, Healthcare CIO Coach, creator of This Week in Health IT, a set of podcast videos and collaboration events dedicated to developing the next generation of health leaders. Get through that really quick. Returning guest, Kristi Ebong with Orbita joins me right now. Welcome back to the show, Kristi. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm great, all things considered. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. We're all adjusting with the timeline, and I appreciate you making some time for us on the show.
Yeah, for you anytime.
Well, the last time we were together, you schooled me on conversational technologies, which I really appreciate. I love learning new things, and I really don't mind people listening in as I sort of stumble through a new topic. And it was really exciting for me to. I kept talking to people about voice and voice technologies, and then you broadened my perspective. Orbita is really in the conversational technologies game and a strong behind the scenes player. A lot of people might even be using Orbita and don't even recognize it. It's a platform play behind the scenes. Bring everybody up to speed on what Orbita is and what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it. We are. If I schooled you, then you were a good student. You remember. So we are a conversational AI platform exclusively focused on healthcare and life sciences. We have customers from the provider space, payer space, pharma companies, and then a lot of large technology vendors that are also using us to power their voice and chat initiatives. It's exciting. I think back to a year ago when we were at HIMSS, we were just starting to get geared up for some of the announcements around HIPAA security and to see how far things have come. And so in lieu of HIMSS being canceled this year, we're doing a couple things. We're launching a virtual webcast this Thursday. We've got a really rich agenda. Kudos to my team for pulling it together so quickly on what's happening with virtual bedside assistants. So this is a voice first bedside assistant for inpatient and even senior living facilities. We are talking about the new digital front door. So how to really optimize how you discover and find new consumers, get them in the door, navigate them to the right services, and really qualify and convert them, get them scheduled to be seen. And then also some of the really exciting work we're doing augmenting our large technology partners. So this includes things like a virtual waiting room to optimize that experience from when you first hit the waiting game, the waiting room, for a virtual provider to come on the line and to be able to converse with a virtual agent to really optimize that time. So when you and I as a provider and patient are communicating, that time is optimally spent. So lots of good stuff on the agenda. We also have a roundtable, a series of interviews that I will be conducting with some of the folks on the front lines of the public health response to coronavirus. And so it's obviously an area of large interest, and in the industry we're well positioned to hopefully provide some value to seeing what folks are experiencing there.
So I'm going to come back to a couple of things you said. I have a couple of questions on that, but my first question for you is: did your team have like a backup plan already prepared, or did they like work all weekend to put together this presentation on Wednesday after the announcement came out?
That's a good question. We do have a public health person on the team, and so we've been anticipating this for a few weeks, and so the agenda has been designed as part of a contingency plan of kind of seeing this coming and wanting to be prepared either way.
Awesome. So talk about this is on Wednesday or Thursday this week?
It's on Thursday.
All right. So we'll release this podcast on Tuesday today when we're, because this is what we're doing. We're just dropping the shows as they come up. So on Thursday, people can sign up. How do they find the agenda and the information on the conference?
Sure. You can come to our website. It's orbita.ai. And there's a link right there in the kind of the middle of the page. It's this Thursday, March 12th from noon to 5 Eastern. Happy to have you drop in and out at your convenience as well. And it will also be recorded. So we'll be able to provide that to attendees who have other obligations or commitments.
So who are we going to hear from? We're going to hear from you and CEO. Are we going to hear from others as well?
Yeah, so we have a whole lineup. We'll have more announcements later today. The link that is live right now has our current confirmed speakers. We will be including Terry Fisher. He's a sports and exercise physician. He's also the founder of Voice First Health, so he knows the space inside and out. He'll be joining us. We have Anna Kravitz, the president of Adira, talking about some of the life sciences innovations that we're doing. David Metcalf, who is overseeing the Mixed Emerging Technology Integration Lab at the University of Central Florida. Some of you all may know Harry Pappas from the Intelligent Health Association. He's a big player in voice that we often see at HIMSS. And then also one of our newer additions to the team, Chelsea Beal. She is a nurse by background, informaticist, seasoned informaticist, ex-Epic, ex-Propeller Health, has been part of the Orbita team bringing Voice First to the inpatient setting. And so we're excited to have her, as well as a couple of frontline public health responders. So this will include Johns Hopkins epidemiologist that is looking at treating viral respiratory infections and understands that process, as well as another epidemiologist at the state level, and potentially another special guest whose name I can't yet announce, but it should be on the wires by later this afternoon.
Got to make sure they're going to be there. So is this going to be Eastern time, I assume, or?
That's right, noon to 5 Eastern, 9 to 2 Pacific.
Fantastic. So this is a really hot space. If people want to hear about the bedside, not to take away from your conference, but we did a podcast with your CEO, and the other gentleman's name is escaping my mind right now.
With Bill and Nate, I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And they talked about the work of the point solution that was developed in Australia and just how exciting that was, just in terms of the patient satisfaction scores, the clinician satisfaction scores. It is a really cool solution. We have that podcast. Talk to me about the digital front door. I mean, how is voice coming to play in the digital front door?
So think about this. So just a couple stats for you. So when you need healthcare, you turn to Google search. 90%, 89% of patients and consumers are searching on Google for healthcare. It's 70,000 health-related queries a minute. And so the real digital front door is on the front lines of search. And so if you think about how search has changed with natural language and voice searching, even if you're a keyword searcher, the number of natural language queries that are being put into the ether every single day, every single minute is extraordinary. And it's completely changed search engine optimization and how search is displayed. You can play around with this on your own time and figure out, when you're searching for care, where do I get a colonoscopy? Who does cataract surgery near me that accepts Cigna? And so what we're seeing now is healthcare and life sciences organizations starting to optimize for discoverability, the real front door, starting at search, and then not just to be discoverable and capture those patients, but with VoiceBot and chatbot tech to wrap a high touch, high conversion, qualified experience around that patient. So you're actually navigating the consumer to where they need to go. You're qualifying them into the right department so your neurologists aren't booking up their schedules with headache patients, that they're really optimizing their schedules for the right acuity. And then you're converting them. You're getting them scheduled. You're getting them in to be seen, whether that's through a virtual visit or brick and mortar. And so our digital front door solution also takes advantage of and optimizes existing technology infrastructure. And so the fun part, and this is where we're really enterprise grade, is that we're sitting in a really sweet spot to take advantage of all these trends and also to serve some really strategic needs that a lot of these healthcare players have.
And search is really changing. I mean, we have all these devices listening to us in the home, and we're doing searches differently than we used to. So we're not being presented with a list of 10 things like we would on, say, a Google search. We're being presented with some decision making that's being done on the back end, and these intelligent assistants are actually talking back to us and saying, are you talking about this? Are you talking about this? So we really do have an opportunity right now, which is unique. We're in a unique point of history to reposition ourselves for this voice search that's going to be emerging.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the craziest thing is that it's already upended everything, right? And so I know when you and I spoke, it was probably not the last, not at at Health 2.0, maybe even a year and a half or 2 years ago, some of this stuff, it was, oh, where are we going to use voice in healthcare? And it was a really broad kind of generalized space. And now it's voice and chat are here. How do we use that to address just a plethora of problems? And so we've done that. Our customers have done that. And now we're rinsing and repeating the lessons we've learned. And it's really exciting, honestly, having spent my whole career in health and tech. I think this is the first time when I can say without reservation that this is something that will be and is being adopted by every demographic and user base of healthcare consumer in the marketplace.
You know, one of the we talked about digital front door. We talked about at the bedside. The call center is another place where this gets implemented a fair amount. You know, one of the I'm giving a shout out to. You know, I use Schwab, and Schwab integrates voice really well in their customer service experience. And I'm already authenticated. Just a bunch of things happen before I'm actually even talking to somebody, and they're well ahead of the game by the time I actually get a voice on the line. And I always get a voice on the line, by the way. I don't. This people are worried that this technology, you're just going to pop it in and replace people. But at the end of the day, good customer service is people that are empowered with information to do the right thing for you. And you guys have solutions, maybe not point solutions, but you do play in that space as well.
Yeah, we do call center operations across many different use cases. We're live in, for example, follow-up visit programs. So we do a lot there for call center. We're doing a lot of call center plays in terms of prep before coming in for a visit. Also in terms of qualifying patients to get them to the right service. So for example, if you're an oncology center of excellence, there's a few things you probably want to know from every consumer that you talk to. Do you have a cancer diagnosis? Are you able to travel for treatment? Who is your insurance? And the answers to these qualifying questions really help patients and consumers get a personalized, navigated, guided experience to where they need to be. And so regardless of digital readiness, to your point about talking to a person, we've seen this in the restaurant industry. You want to book a reservation at a restaurant. Sometimes you use Open Table and Resi. Other times, at minimum, you get to the right place and your phone pops up the phone number and it says, are you sure? Would you like me to call this number for you? And it gets you to the right person so that that live conversation you have is quick, it's efficient, and it's meaningful to get you the information you need.
One of the things I like about our conversations is that we've both practiced. You were at Cedars and I was down the road. You know, if you were still in the health IT space, what areas would you be looking to make investments in conversational technologies today if you were back in the chair that you were in before?
Absolutely. I think that we've seen this before, right? Where the initial impetus in an industry, you see a lot of point solutions. And that's great because it means there's market demand for it. There's problems that need to be solved and there's tech that can solve it, or tech-enabled services. I think what we're seeing and what especially enterprise and executive leadership knows is you need something to be enterprise grade. You need it to play nicely because at the end of the day, you know, you find something that's good for neurology, you still need to deploy it to, 80 other subspecialties. You find something that works for clinical folks, it doesn't work for the business folks. And so the aha moment for me before joining Orbita was really understanding the tech and the space as enterprise grade and something that's future proofing and can be used in just an extraordinary amount of ways.
Yeah, you would think we've learned that lesson already. We have to scale these things, but I mean, I know I went into dead ends in some areas where you pick the solution because it's there, and you think, all right, well, we just need to solve that one problem, and it turns out that you do have to scale it across subspecialties. You do have to scale it across the organization, and this is where platform thinking really does come into play, and that's how you guys were designed.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting play for entrepreneurs. It's a catch-22, right? Because you need to be able to navigate the market and find something that people are willing to buy and that solves their problems. And so that was a journey that Orbita went through. I think we're uniquely positioned because of the previous experiences of our team that the technology really is enterprise grade. We had a lot of great traction out of the gates, and now we're upwards of over 40 customers, lighthouse accounts, many of which are using us in multiple spaces across their enterprise.
So Thursday, noon to 5. Lots of special guests, lots of topics. Digital front door. You're going to be talking about conversational technologies at the bedside. You're going to talk about life sciences. Anything else I'm missing, or am I still a B plus type student?
No, you come a long way, my friend. No, that's great. Noon to 5 Eastern this Thursday. Sign up, even if they can't make it live. We'll send you a link and you can listen to the recordings at your pleasure.
And is it the type of thing where I could drop in for an hour if I'm only available from like 1 to 3 or something to that effect?
Absolutely. We like to interact with people that have a life and have a lot going on. So it's designed accordingly.
I appreciate it, and appreciate your time. Thanks for making the time and coming on the show. It's awesome to catch up.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Don't forget to check back multiple times this week. We're going to be dropping more shows, and this show is a production of This Week in Health IT. More great content. Check out the website, thisweekhealth.com, or the YouTube channel as well. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.